name is Jenna. This is 11:11 with Jenna. I am here 7 days, 7 nights, 14 times a week. And it is Wednesday, December 14th. And yes, I have up my tree. You can only see a little bit of it. But the tree is up, and Lillian, the ghost of Lillian, what do we call that? It's an artist rendering of Lillian Pearl right there, is there. And maybe I'll turn the light off a little bit later so you can see more of that. I'm getting a text. If you go to my Facebook page, you will see the show. So it is Wednesday. Did I say Tuesday? If I said Tuesday, forget I said that. It's Wednesday. I didn't say that. December 14th. And I'm really excited because tomorrow morning, we'll be doing some movement. I have had some technical difficulty. Everything just went blew up today. My light blew up, so I have a weird light in here right now. My laptop did something weird, so I'm using a different, not even a different platform, a whole different setup right this second. And we'll see how long that goes for. But tomorrow night, if you just excuse me for 1 minute, I'll be right back because I'm going to take a quick station break, and then we will welcome our guest and we'll have a fun time tonight. So
coming this Thursday, lives will be changed forever. 11:11 with Jenna presents Corona Roki International Limited. Bring your best, just stay home. Live from her state-of-the-art studios, the Lily Pad, broadcasting throughout space and around the world to each and every home. 11:11 with Jenna. Jenna, Corona Roki International Limited, this Thursday.
that's right. Tomorrow night we will be tomorrow night here. Listen to some incredible musicians. Have fun. But right now, I have someone I met years and years and years ago, at my cousin Joey DiMaggio. Remember Joey, who was on, he was on the last fundraiser. He's the one that did the splits, Joey D. Yeah, he did the splits. We might talk about that tonight. We met, and then she's gone on to do really, really cool stuff in Kalamazoo. Ladies and gentlemen, this evening, Jennifer Hudson-Prenkert. Hi.
Hi, hello.
I just got a text from Joey.
Oh.
He's on it now. My cousin, but we're cousins. Let me just check in, see what's happening here. I'm going public right this second. And we have the same corner piece in our kitchen, in our dining room. You're in your dining room.
I am. Yes, I am.
That's so cool. I love that.
It is cool. Yes.
It is. But what's behind your head right there? I see a painting.
Right?
Yes.
So I've got a painting that my grandmother did. My grandmother was an artist, so I have a whole bunch of paintings around my house of her work. So I have like my own family art. It's quite lovely.
Where did you grow up?
Well, I grew up in Ludington, Michigan for half of my life. And then I went over to Detroit, Michigan. And then I found myself in Kalamazoo. So I'm like halfway between all the places.
I love Leadington.
It was a
What's
great
the name
place to grow up.
for get those the bread?
Oh, at Gibbs, the
Good.
sticky buns.
Yeah, the sticky.
Mhm.
Oh yeah, William D. You probably do have mutual friends. My friend William lives in Kalamazoo. Joe DiMaggio, he's here.
Yay!
Yay!
Hi, Joey.
That's where we. That was a long time ago.
A very long time ago.
I think Joey. I think he had just moved into the house.
I believe so. I believe so. Yes. Yep. It's funny how
What?
the world works.
Yeah, and here we are. What did you have for lunch today?
What did I have for lunch today? I had tuna fish today.
Really? How do you
Mhm.
prepare?
I prepare it. I get the wild caught tuna, and I put a little bit of celery, sometimes onion, and usually, and then I have some banana chips. I know it sounds weird, but they're these plantain chips that I like to have. So
Like the
that's
savory plantain or a sweeter plantain?
they're literally they're in between. It's in between. They're made with coconut oil. They're like I think the company is Banana Chips or something. They're really good, and they're
You
not
crunch those up with tuna fish or
Yeah,
separately?
it depends what mood I'm in.
Do you dip it or do you eat? Do you have bread or you
Oh,
lettuce?
I try. Nope, I just either scoop it or I like crumple it up a little bit. Just it depends if I'm at the bottom of the bag, then I might be throwing it on there.
Crunching up extra.
Yeah.
Joey, so happy you're here. Is that a normal? Are you a tuna? Did you get the tuna fish in the can or did you cook it and then do?
No,
Okay.
I usually do it in the can. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Is that a go-to? Do you work from home?
No, I work for an Aveda hair salon in Kalamazoo called Milan.
Wow.
So I do hair
Really?
all the time. Yes, ma'am.
Wow. And we were talking about hair.
I know.
I've had a hat on all day and then I took my hair out and it looked, I should have just said, help me with my hair.
I have my hair up because I have curly hair and there's just days that I'm not playing with it. And today was one of those. So I have it all up in a little French twist.
Cool. What do you specialize? What do you love to do when someone comes in? Hi, Tony R. Smith. Oh, wow. We are coast to coast and in Colorado right now.
All right. I love it. I love it. I like to do all of it. I do cut. I'm a color specialist as well as I do cut too. So I like both. I couldn't do just one or the other. I like the whole package.
Are you do you have a certain type of, I have a friend she has a salon here, Salon Devore, Corinne Devore Mays, and she is blonde,
Mm-hmm.
but she's, like she wasn't always blonde, but I think a lot of women that like to be blonde go to her
Okay.
because she knows how to do it right.
Sure.
So do people come to you because you know how to do a bob braid?
I think that probably the biggest thing people know is they find out if I have curly hair. I get a lot of curly hair people because I have curly hair, but I can do all kinds of cuts. So that's just something that I think a lot of the curly people in the world feel comfortable, like to find someone that has, does the curls. So
Friends?
yes. And so I love doing hair. I also volunteer with hospice. So I do hospice haircuts, which I have done for about 8 years now.
I work with the dying. So yeah. So you go in and you have, oh, good. See,
Thank you.
all this stuff. But you do something else kind of cool.
I do.
Let's talk about that.
Well, so I
do
started
other stuff too, but there's a particular that I'm.
So essentially I'm in the arts. I've been an artist my whole life. My family's in the arts in various ways. Art for painting. My grandfather played and made violins, majored in violin at Wayne State University in Detroit, Michigan. He was in theater. I just have a lot of art. My dad's a guitar player, sings. My mom was in theater as well. And my family's very artistic. So I've just been around it since I was a little girl running around theaters. Music's been a big part of my life, dance, all of it, all the mediums. And then, I've been involved in various ways, but music has always been I would say probably my number one passion. And even as a dancer, obviously typically you dance to music, not always, but that is a big catalyst and supporter of music and where you get your inspiration from, or at least myself. And just listening to music myself, I'm a huge music fan of all types. And my path has led me down all kinds of various ways in music. And in the last, I guess it would be 6 years, 7 years, I started booking music and kind of playing around in a different capacity. I really enjoy production as well as performing. I perform also, but I call it like front and back of the house. And I love both aspects of the whole process of theater and performing. So it's led me down all kinds of paths, and I recently have gotten very focused on music. And after I left, I was doing music at Arcadia Brewing Company in Kalamazoo, Michigan. I started a music series and from nothing, and it wasn't really a music venue, but I created something because I felt like it was important to bring some music. It's hard to have a venue, it's hard to get money to do it, and so I made something out of nothing. My husband actually, Joey knows, his friend Lori, it's her brother Joe Prenkert. He actually designed and installed the beer garden for this brewery. So we kind of did this cool thing together, but then when that kind of expired, I needed to step away from it. Things weren't going that well at that point, but I learned a lot. And a few years later, I decided to start my own music festival here in Kalamazoo called Sounds of the Zoo. And it's a music festival that is about creating change through music. It was September 25th through October 2nd of 2022. I had 7 days of music, 54 bands in 7 days at 6 different locations, and it was free. So I use this as a platform to bring awareness to sustainability and mental health, as well as performing, as well as trying to create an incubator of sound, creation, innovation that is hosted in Kalamazoo that helps build Kalamazoo's music scene, but ultimately Michigan at large. And I have a lot of things that I want to do with this, and it's been quite a journey, and it was very successful. And I'm working on I call it my sophomore album. So I've got year 2 in the works, and it's been quite an amazing journey, and I'm in it as we speak.
Wow. Wait, hold on a second. I'm giving you a standing ovation. So, Sounds of the Zoo.
Yes.
How'd you come up with that name?
Oh, it was a journey. I was trying to find something. Being from Detroit, we call Detroit the D. And Kalamazoo has kind of some catchphrases that was created. Yes, there really is a Kalamazoo, which I think is cute. It's a little wordy. And I just was trying to find something that it was almost a generic way to talk about sounds. It doesn't just have to be music. And this festival is also about diversity and inclusion, which is why I felt really passionate to create a free festival. I feel that that's a way to just do instead of talking about it. And I want it to be an area that can involve all kinds of different people. I consider myself like a street team person. So like my feet are on the ground as I'm running this festival. I have a lot of thoughts on the music industry, what it's like to be in a smaller community doing your art, but then also working locally, regionally, nationally, and eventually internationally. So I have what I call a revolving door that I always keep open. And I think in Kalamazoo right now needs a little love in curation of a music scene. And so I have to start very localized in some ways and be very mindful of what I'm choosing, what types of music, which I'm trying to be very diverse. But I'm limited on time, funds, availability on space, performance. So the premise to Sounds of the Zoo is sort of, I've got some inspiration from South by Southwest in Austin, Texas.
Oh, fun.
So it has that element. I'd like it to have that element of creating of different locations, but taking a music festival that you go to on the weekend, possibly like where you stay overnight, a couple nights, a city festival meets like a restaurant week, and it all kind of crashes together. But we put our twist in Michigan, in Kalamazoo, of how we would be. I feel that there's really not a major festival in our area. I mean, Austin, I've never unfortunately been to South by Southwest yet, but I feel that it's great, but it's very far. from here. So I know people from Michigan that have gone down there and continue to, and that's wonderful. But I just think, and I like
through the years, it used to be a much more intimate festival, and then it added a video component and a technology
right now
component, and now it's this big thing that now I think a lot of people go just to go to the festival as opposed to going there to perform and be a part of of that part of it. But it's such a great festival, and I think that's really wonderful that you're doing something like that here. You know, Mitch started the Blues, Brews, and Barbecues here,
Yeah.
and we used to do a jazz thing here, and it's such a great area, and it's in between Chicago and Detroit, so you can catch everybody.
And right. So location alone, I feel that we're, really could warrant doing this, as well as we have our own history with Gibson guitar that started here in the late 1800s. It was like 1890. That's a whole nother cool story. There's a lot of things in the works in this area. I feel that like Southwest Michigan in particular is not where it could be. We're not as connected as we should be. And I started working with Michigan Music Alliance, which is a nonprofit organization that brings about free classes to musicians about business and empowering artists, and particularly musicians. And their motto is collaboration over competition. And when I left Arcadia Brewing Company, I found them. I found Local Spins, which is Southwest Michigan's fastest online music magazine, which is really, you should check it out. It's amazing. They do amazing things. John Sinkovich is the founder. It's been around for 10 years. And from Michigan Music Alliance, I did some volunteering during COVID in particular. They did 2 big festivals called Spread the Music, trying to raise money for musicians. And so I really started this. We're doing these Zoom calls, obviously, over COVID. And it was awesome. I would look on there and there'd be someone running a festival called the Bliss Fest in Michigan, Hoxseyville, people from Detroit, from Traverse City, from myself in Kalamazoo and Grand Rapids and Third Coast, all the recording company in Grand Haven. And it was just amazing. And I'm thinking, we're all sitting here trying to do the same things. So I've always had this ambition to unite people and network and create a better circuit of touring in my own state. So it's just really motivated me even back then. And then when I saw everybody together, even just on Zoom, it's like, why aren't we working together more? And we have a lot of work to do, but there's a lot of wonderful things happening. And I feel that if we can all start locally and build and really treat ourselves or in these local places all over the country like rock stars, that it will start to be a healthier kind of touring circuit, that if you choose to stay in your own state, you can. I mean, now there's nothing wrong with touring. It's amazing. It's great, but it's very exhausting. I'm working with Backline, which is a mental health organization out of Colorado, and another one called the Roadie Clinic, which actually is formed in Niles, Michigan, with Courtney and Paul Clemson. And they're like amazing people. Paul actually does sound for the Roots. He's on tour with Drake, Justin Timberlake. He and his wife have this amazing story, and they bought a place in Niles. And it's one of the only places where you're going to be able to get off your tour bus and go into this beautiful facility they're building as we speak, and be able to get all the accoutrements that they're offering, as well as turn it into more of a music city. So the tours, there's a big thing happening in Vicksburg called the Mill. It's another thing. We've got some things at Gibson Factory. There might be a Hard Rock Reverb Hotel coming.
Talking for a while, yeah.
It has. So my concern with these things, these music venues, is just what happens locally. I mean, this is great, but like, to me, it's not that complicated it's hard to get money sometimes, but to get a band, pay for them to perform, and then they go, then what happens? I mean, it's kind of like, that's great. And that's a great part of being entertained, is going to see a concert and then you go home and you're like, that was amazing. And I saw the Roots, whoever. But there's these stepping stones. And I just feel that they're all important. And wherever you choose to plug into, it should be a definition of what success is. And I think we lose a lot of people due to that fact of what is success. And if you're only bringing in the people who are professional, meaning they're making their living off of their career, it leaves a gap locally that I feel, I know Joey was in New York for a while and did some amazing things. And he's, chose to be in Southwest Michigan, which is great. And there's nothing wrong with that. And I'm sure he would love to do more than he does artistically. He's fantastic. But you make different choices and you lose out a little bit when there's not as many opportunities and the talent, because it's, you know what I'm trying to say? So
I live what you're trying to say. So yeah, I've everything you're saying, I'm nodding, but it's
right.
I'm
preaching.
for
Preaching. I get on my soapbox and I get to preaching because I feel really passionate about this. It's
when you've been touring 250 dates a year and then it stops, you kind of go, okay. And there are things here. My family started a lot of the music in Southwest Michigan and then toured. Right. My other brother was in Detroit and we did a lot of stuff over there, but it's nice to see other people coming back here like Joey and Scooter and, I'm here and there's so much potential for that next, not even generation, but the next level that is happening. Niles, from Niles to Kalamazoo, that's far enough away from each other where if there's a band that's going to play in Niles, people aren't necessarily going to drive to Kalamazoo. So you can spread that out and then think about if it's South Bend or Indianapolis, Niles.
Absolutely. Grand Rapids, Detroit. Yes. And I think one of the keys and that's one of the reasons I wanted, to meet you, talk to you for various reasons, but also to, expand this idea. And so like for me, Sounds of the Zoo really is a platform. It's a movement. It's not just a music festival. It has a really different vibe than just any old festival. And because of what I bring to the table with my experiences and all various types of art, I think it makes it really unique and it puts a spin. And being a woman in the industry, that's very rare. Creating my own festival. I have a co-producer named Chelsea Whitaker, who's just fantastic. And I've been blessed to find her. She's a photographer. She does social media. I call her my triple threat. And she's a bit younger than myself, which is cool because we both have
the ones that know.
but we both bring like our experiences together. And my husband Joe is co-producing, and so we have, what's cool about it. And I'm also taking this this movement and this platform, and I'm doing it my own way. So as opposed to like being a nonprofit, I'm an LLC, but I have a fiscal sponsor from New York City called Fractured Atlas that's like phenomenal, that I'm telling everybody about because it's a support system for artists in such amazing ways. And I'm trying to help kind of break through in the smaller communities that everything almost feels like it has to be nonprofit. And that's really challenging. And that's not always the right path for people. And I think it limits how many people will come out and come up with creative ideas if they don't have to start a nonprofit and have a board and go through this whole rigmarole. So I'm also creating something different. And because Kalamazoo, we have Western Michigan University, Kalamazoo College, we have Kalamazoo Valley Community College, we've got a WME med school, we have all kinds of wonderful programs. We're barely scratching the surface on students and participation with sustainability, with the music programs, it's just, to me, it's like, it's a no-brainer. I feel that there's been a lack of curation in general. And because my situation right now is nonprofit, I also don't have a beer tent and I wasn't selling tickets. So it created a really different energy. We have a social district drinking regulation here in Kalamazoo, which has been really cool. So you can walk around and purchase drinks from various venues and bars and restaurants.
Can you walk with your cocktail from one place to the next?
Correct. And so I was also trying to support local business with this. So I created a festival 7 days a week so that we can, create that vibe, that movement, that energy, what music brings to a city. And I think it should be a no-brainer, but I'm pushing through some old guard and being more progressive. And I think a lot of smaller communities have that struggle. And so to me, it sounds kind of cliche, but the people to me have spoken and I know what I need to do and I'm doing it.
And you're doing it.
I'm trying.
Is it soundsofthezoo.com?
Mm-hmm. We have a website. We also are raising money as well. raising funds through, I have a Fractured Atlas support page, which has been really great. So now I have something that's permanent. So when you go to our website, the first thing you'll see is a beautiful photo that Chelsea took, and underneath it'll have a donation to Fractured Atlas. And you also can have a tax write-off, which is really cool. You can support it monthly. It has sort of a Patreon vibe, which is really neat.
I have a Patreon page. By the way, let me just post that. Let people know that right away, because some people are watching the show for the very first time, and I always have to do this commercial in the middle of it.
Oh,
Jenna,
absolutely.
much appreciated. Venmo at Jenna-Mammina, PayPal.me/Jenna Sings, Patreon.com/Jenna Mammina, and I have Zelle. And tomorrow night, you guys, Corona Roki's happening, so come on back. There's a lot of people watching right now that haven't watched in a while, so I just wanted to let them know that's happening.
Yeah, we have to. That's why we got to support ourselves and get the word out there. That's, same thing with me to make it free. I didn't have any grants this year. I just went through, I did it on my own. I got sponsorships, invested in the festival myself. So I'm really in it now. I didn't make what I needed, but I was able to have it at different venues. It's been a wild ride already. Yeah, I go through all these different emotions, and this month has been a little more challenging, but what we've tried to do is keep this alive. So talking with you, I'm honored to be here and thankful, grateful, and it's something that I want to keep this going. So we have things going on called Sounds of the Zoo Presents. I have a showcase tomorrow at a new space called it's called the Clover Room. And it's a new listening room in Kalamazoo. So I've got some artists that were part of Sounds of the Zoo there, and we're collaborating with the Clover Room. My two girlfriends that run that also have a business called Isabel and Ernest, and they make beautiful clothes and do apothecary, and they go to festivals too. So they're great, and they're musicians. So there's some really cool things starting in happening in Kalamazoo that are really necessary, and they're on a little bit of a smaller scale, which is nice. It makes it a little bit easier. Yes, and for booking. And so I've got a lot of ideas on that too about touring. So I'm also creating a new, chapter of Sounds of the Zoo called Sounds of the Zoo's Music Exchange. So when I actually curate an event, I'm going to bring that title to the venues so that people understand that, like, I have a show in Detroit at my friend's place called Otis Supply in April. We're going to get ready to announce a show there with a great band called Laura Rain and the Caesars. I don't know if you've heard of them, but they're voted one of the best R&B bands in Detroit. And I had them at my festival, which was insane. And a band called Grace Tyson. So we're trying to do some exchange, and I want to make that clear to people that that's something that's happening when I'm curating that, so that we can start to have these places and help each other. Like, we have this musician, go over here, let's tour. I think people just get caught up in their worlds, and I get it, because it's tough in terms of venues, booking. It's a lot, but I think we all need to kind of look up for a minute and realize, like, how can we really be helping these musicians rather than just kind of,
help us.
well, because sometimes I feel like if you just, I say this politely, because I'm a person who sort of has a venue in my own way, and I support music venues all over, and I know how hard it is. But there are times where it feels like people work really hard to get a show, they get the show, and then it's kind of like, that's it. And now you have to go work really hard to get your next show. And when you're not touring and you don't have a booking agent and you don't have that momentum, it's really hard. And I would like to see that be easier, because I've chosen to live in Southwest Michigan. I've toured myself with dance. I've done some great things, but I'm not embarrassed to say that I'm here. And I also want to support other musicians like yourself and people who are living in different cities that are touring, different levels of professionalism, if you will. But I really feel that we all should be celebrating ourselves when we're in this industry, period. I don't care where you live and what you do. It's not an easy life. It's fulfilling, but it's challenging.
It's true. So you have a show coming up tomorrow. Did you say?
I do. Tomorrow, yes.
That's at the Clover Room?
At the Clover Room, yep. And I just had one on Saturday. Sounds of the Zoo presents with another organization called This Is a Good Sound that my friend Kevin Lamb runs, who's another amazing person in the industry. And he manages a gentleman named Dixon Violin. So we had a show with him and a local musician named Dylan Tolbert, and it was a great show. And people, and that's the thing, people are starting to recognize Sounds of the Zoo, and that's the point. I want it to be used for the greater good. So if I can put my name, not mine, but put Sounds of the Zoo onto something to help facilitate, whether it's education or just visibility, I think that's a key. I think marketing together is really important to educate people.
That's why we're here.
Mm-hmm.
Why we're here. That's why it's all, you're saying things that I live every day, and it's so wonderful that you're energetic and so spirited about it. And I've heard about Sounds of the Zoo before you even connect. Well, Mitch and you have talked, and you've worked with Slim Gypsy Baggage. Cam has a new bar. I don't know if you've heard.
Yes, I've heard wonderful things. I know you're playing there on the 17th.
This Saturday. Side Yard. It's not the Side Yard, it's Side Yard. And he and his wife Alex have done a really cool job there. But it's another place to, for you to be connected to as well, because
I've been planning on it.
It's there's so much in this business that's really it's gatekeeper. How did you get that gig? How did you get a gig at Jazz at Lincoln Center? How did you get a gig at Yoshi's? I go, you know who you call? You call this person, you call this person. But what I always have a challenge with is, like you say, you do the one gig, a big gig at the State Theater, and then you go, okay, where am I going to perform next? But I'm at the Side Yard tomorrow, Saturday night at 7:30 till 9:30. Joey D. Joey. I'll book a show somewhere in Kalamazoo, for instance, and I'll market the heck out of it for 2 months, 3 months, whatever. I'll start talking about it. I turn people onto that place, which I'm proud to play there. But I'm a professional marketing person. I market for other people in other genres of music and other projects and stuff.
Right.
But they're getting my marketing for free, because once I play there, unless I get a gig there again. But all those people are going to come to the show and talk about it.
Right.
And by having like how you have these things connecting or wanting to connect it more, then it's a series of places that not just a this place and this place, but to connect, to have like I don't know what the word is, but a zone, a region, but that work together, that it's not just this club that's competing for the people or this club that's competing. It's them. They'll benefit too.
Absolutely.
They'll benefit by having Jenna Mammina was there last week, and then Slim Gypsy Baggage was playing there, and that's her nephew, and then there's a whole connection.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I think how you treat the artist, and that you're kind, and there's something behind it more than just saying, I want to use you to perform and bring people in. It's like, I want to create an incubator, a safe space, right, where we can create and honor our own local musicians. It's such a dog-eat-dog world. And I also think that I like to create Sounds of the Zoo in the sense that, that you're going to get something good. I did this at Arcadia Brewing Company where, it doesn't even really matter the genre of music, as long as you're bringing in quality performers and you're supporting them with
they
quality.
Know it's good because you have a good
They're going to get an experience. So that I think I'm trying to help kind of destigmatize the idea of having to know who it is. I mean, it's always great to know. It's exciting to go see a band that you really, really love. But I mean, there's something that people forget that's really exciting about just coming in to see new music. Does it really matter? I know that Delivery does a great job down in Benton Harbor, bringing in great musicians. I'm trying to connect with Brandon a little more to, if we can, even if it's just these venues have like 1 day out of the month where they dedicate to a music exchange and educate their own community to say, I mean, obviously you're getting bands coming in and out, but to really showcase like this band, like we have a band we're trying to bring in, a friend of mine from Grayling, Michigan, which is pretty far up north. And then they have a friend from Indianapolis, and my girlfriend's trying to bring them in and I'm helping her with booking. And I'm like, okay, well, first of all, you got to find out how much they're charging. And that's a long way to come. And if they're not understand that you can't always guarantee rates, that's very challenging in this market right now. So, just that whole component. But if I can bring Sounds of the Zoo up to Grayling, for example, then I would bring in, that band would be, let's say, my headliner, and maybe I could bring you up there. Who knows? I mean, maybe it becomes so successful that, there's money to be made, that maybe hotels, I'm looking to see if Kalamazoo, I could get a hotel to sponsor the music exchange, so that once a month I know I have a room available. So when I do invite someone from another city, I can offer them a space, and maybe that would help make up for payment while we're still building this thing. So I know, I just don't know how it's ever really been that focused on. And when you really look at the tours, I mean, if you go look at someone's back of their shirt, or now obviously on, Facebook or Instagram or what have you, it's really not that hard to figure out where people's tours are going. And a lot of times it's one venue in one place in one state. That's kind of crazy when you think about that. Like it's not a million, like you're picking, I'm going to this state, I'm going to that state. And depending on what type of genre of music, you're going to hopefully play at the place that you're going to be successful. And it just, it got me thinking, imagine if everybody took some of this power in their own communities. I mean, I think that could be a shift in how the industry works.
Yeah, I've toured. I do it once in the summer. I do this tour where we do 6 gigs in Michigan, in Upper Michigan, and then I tag 3 gigs on the first. So we end up doing like 12 gigs, and it's in Michigan. And then we'll fly to Chicago, or we'll drive to Chicago, and then we can do Indiana, Ohio. You can do a really good Midwest tour without being one state to state to state. But
right. I'm just saying, when I look at even like, it does it just all kinds of bands. It's so interesting to me when I look at really, like, if I start connecting the dots, we're like, wow, that's like, okay, this is interesting. And I've talked to some other people too, that same thing, we need to create more of a Midwest vibe so that it's a little easier. So that's my hope, is that I could like incubate people into Sounds of the Zoo to connect with each other too, and also get a break and unplug and come in. And I have classes that I'm offering and trying to work on that level, but in a very organic, right now, a grassrooted way, so that I'm trying to create something that really has a heart and meaning. Because you can throw some money down and all of a sudden you're bringing in a big name, which there's nothing wrong with that. That comes later. And when it does come, then I want it to have where if somebody did come, they would say, oh my gosh, this is such a great supportive environment. And you think about the music cities. What makes it a music city, in my opinion, is the culture. It's not always just the music. You can't just like create a culture. I mean, it kind of happens, right? And then you water it and you help it grow, but it's an organic process and everybody has one. So it's kind of like finding where your culture is and curate that. And really people just spark up to music, and we're all still struggling through things. And I just feel like music really is a healer, and I think you can create change through music. And I know you can.
Every day.
Mm-hmm.
Every day. What are your plans for the next couple weeks in your life?
What am I doing? Just really kind of working on my shows, and I'm really hunkering down for next year, 2023, with Sounds of the Zoo. And now that I have a template, because I started out of like thin air, and running through learning how to do sponsorships. I've never done that before. That's been totally crazy. I'm fearless now. I'll ask anybody anything. I'm so not afraid. Mm-hmm.
You have a New Year?
No, I don't. No. But I'm actually in a band myself. I'm in a cover band, and we just got to play at Bell's Brewery in Kalamazoo. That was very exciting for Eccentric Day. So that was my big claim to fame.
What's the name of the band?
Genuine.
Yes, we're a rock cover band, and we had a ball. We have so much fun. So I get to play and do all kinds of fun things. So I'm definitely gonna be taking some time to try to relax a little, and then also focus on, my plan for the 2023.
Cool. Well, come back in 2023.
Yes.
Tell us what.
Yes, absolutely. And I'd love to have you, and we'll have to chat details, because I've got some ideas. So I've always got.
You got my number. I got your number.
Yes, ma'am.
But definitely come back sometime on the show. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I don't want to keep you too late. It's Wednesday, December 14th. It's almost Thursday. It's almost Corona Roki. Come on by tomorrow night and check out the show. And if you feel like performing sometime, you can
Well,
do
you're
that
so
too.
sweet and so kind, and I'm so grateful that you had me on your show. And I think it's great what you're doing, and you do such great work. And I would love to, support you in any way I can. And I'm excited for this is fun, our new friendship. So thank you.
I'm really glad we connected again after all these years. Thank you, Joey D.
Yes, thank you.
Cool. Well, thank you so much. Have a beautiful holiday and be safe out there. And Lynette, hi, Lynette Baber. Do you know Lynette Baber? I'll have to connect you with Lynette Baber. She's an artist in Kalamazoo, actually.
Oh, wonderful.
And she's performing tomorrow night on the show.
Well, fabulous. I'll come check it out when I get back from my
Check it out. From yours, what time does your show start?
Ours starts at 7:30.
At the Clover Room.
The Clover Room. Yes.
In Kalamazoo. Where is that?
It's at a place called Jericho Town. It's a warehouse of different businesses together. And we have a recording studio called La Luna Recording and Sound that has its home there. And so there's a yoga studio, a couple bought it. It's really, really cool. It's in the Edison neighborhood.
Okay.
And they do fairs there. And it's a really cool space that I think Clover Room is going to be a really great addition to bring people there. There's going to be a jazz series on Wednesdays. We have a new jazz festival, so I need to talk to you about, called the Edison Jazz Fest, that started this year and about a week and a half before mine. So that's very exciting. And they're going to do a Wednesday night jazz series at the Clover Room. So that's really cool.
I'm interested. I work with Professor Matthew Fries, who's the piano jazz. He's the professor of jazz piano at Western, and I work with Keith Hall.
Yes, Keith. I actually had Keith's band. They opened up our festival.
Tri-Fi?
It was amazing.
So Tri-Fi, they're good. Matt is the pianist in Tri-Fi. That's who I'm playing with on Saturday night.
Okay. Keith had an album out this year that made in Kalamazoo, ironically. So that was amazing. Yeah, Keith and I have known each other forever, actually, from Western. He used to play drums for my modern dance class.
I love Keith.
Yes, he's wonderful. So yes, there's a lot of great connection, and Western is a big key for me to keep moving forward. And I just met the music director last week through Keith, actually, at another person's show. So we're starting this movement. So this is good stuff. So thanks again.
Well, thank you. Please come back and
Will do.
Wow, what a breath of fresh air, really. Thank you for doing what you're doing, as we say on Mama Grace Records, keeping live music alive. So thank you.
Yes, namaste to you. All right, my darling. Happy holidays.
Happy holidays, and here's your standing ovation for you once again. Thank you.
Love it. Mwah.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
How fun. Yes, tomorrow night, kids.